What's going on, everybody? GemMint here, back with another statue unboxing and review. And yes, I bought another one back. You guys may have seen my XM Studios Ghost Rider on bike review I just recently did. It was actually a piece I owned in the past, and I rebought it when I had the opportunity. And that's something that's happened with this one, man. The Sideshow Galactus Maquette, I would consider a true Sideshow grail. It's like one of the top tier Sideshow pieces. I've owned it before, and I actually have done a review on this one, unlike the XM Ghost Rider, which I never got a chance to review. But please, whatever you do, do not go watch the original review on this. It's one of my first videos. It's terrible. So I thought it would be cool to do an unboxing and review. And plus, this one has a custom paint job. It actually has some repairs done by somebody in the statue community that I've known for a long time. Actually, one of my earlier videos as well, the Mortal Kombat male ninjas, had custom ninjas that he painted. And this is actually a paint job that he did 2 years back as well. So shout out to Lewis and shout out to Todd Johnson, who I bought this from on Facebook, a good friend of mine, and he happens to sell some statues from time to time. But with that out the way, let's go ahead and jump into this unboxing. Alright guys, so like you saw with the art box, just one styrofoam box, but it does have 2 layers. The first layer has most of the pieces here. You can see Galactus and all his arms and helmet siding, and here's one of them right here. So I mentioned this had repainting done. This was actually the original Sideshow painting here, and it has like this space gunk dust painted in there and almost like a coated candy paint to it, which looks really good. I really like this type of red that they used, and it was cool to see that that still exists on this piece. Then we have the face plates, also untouched by Lewis. This is the original Sideshow painting, and I like the gritted teeth look. He's got a fierce, mean look, and you can see the magnet and the little slits for the LED behind the eyes. And then the alternate portrait, which has a stern look. It looks cool, but for me, if they have a teeth option, I'm going gritted teeth. Then we have the hands. The left hand here, also original Sideshow paint, and you can kind of see the depth of it right here in this shot. It has that deep candy to it, nice intricate details on the sculpt, just like the right hand here with those silver notches and wires going into his gauntlet or whatever they may be. But definitely has a great sculpt and paint to it. And then we get to the body. Same on the boots, that deep red. Now here's where we have the custom paint job, the torso. Lewis really only had the body, and he had to make some repairs, and that is what caused the repaint on the purple and the blue, which he gave more of a comic, vibrant vibe than what the original had. Now the only thing is, I don't think I really love it against the red gauntlets, boots, and helmet. Let me know what you guys think. In the meantime, I love the sculpt. I like that Kang almost type of uniform with the almost like pinstripes on the torso, the mechanical stuff like on his back here and on his chest. And then the bottom layer has the base and the 2 heralds. So we have Nova first, who recently released by Sideshow as a proximity piece for the Silver Surfer maquette. And then boom, of course you have to have Norinrad, the Silver Surfer. I love how small this is. It almost looks like it's 1/20th scale or something like that, to really show the size of Galactus, which you cannot do in quarter scale, obviously. And then we have that base, like I said. Interestingly enough, no edition size on this. It just says limited edition. Sideshow could really have reissued this and nobody could have said anything rather than the new maquette, but we'll talk about that later. You can see that nice metallic shine, the grit and rust, which you can feel and has texture on here. Also original paint by Sideshow. Here we have the light switch, and we'll show the light up functions as well. And then we have the power adapter here on the bottom. Alright guys, so base is on the turntable. Let's get Galactus on here. Now at this point, I don't really notice anything. I get his peg in there, the other foot has a key, and boom, he seems to be in there. Let's give it a quick spin just so you can see the detail of paint on that base. I know it's just a flat, bland, what is it, a hexagon, but it has a lot of nice coloring within the metal, from rusty weathering to the textured rust and sand like I've shown you up top. And of course, like I mentioned, the LED, so when you turn the switch on, you will get it under the base, which has that nice glow to it. That looks really cool. Let's go ahead and get Galactus all put together. So his left hand next to those abs that are just ripped. Before we put the right hand on, that looks so freaky with no faceplate and those lit up LEDs. We got to get a faceplate on here stat. We'll do the stern one first. Doesn't really add much glow to the eyes. It's more of like around the middle, which is a pearly white. But again, not the portrait I would use. We'll switch it out, and we have to have baring teeth, angry Galactus. That's the Galactus that we all want to see. And you can kind of see the LED behind those eyes a little bit better here and on his chest. Let's complete the helmet with those fins on his right and left. Put the left one here, and then we'll get that right arm out. All right, last thing to do is have some heralds. So let's go ahead and put on Nova first, see how she fits. There's a little notch on the top of the gauntlet, and I kind of had to swing it. This is where I started to notice a little bit of a lean with Galactus. But we'll get into that in a bit. We'll switch her out for Silver Surfer. You know you got to go Norrin Rad, gritted teeth. Let's take a look at this guy in full and see why I'm not keeping him. Alright guys, before I get into my final thoughts and the reason why I'm not keeping this piece, I do want to thank THATSPIDERMANBOOTH for sponsoring this video. Normally, I plug THATSPIDERMANBOOTH.com or their sister site, Street Level Hero, but you really got to be following them on Whatnot. They actually stopped releasing their exclusive variant comic books on their website because they sell out so fast on Whatnot. Search That Spider-Man Booth. If you haven't yet, download Whatnot. The link's in the description. It'll actually give you a $10 credit that you could use towards That Spider-Man Booth or one of my live sales. So make sure you're following me there as well. And thank you, That Spider-Man Booth. They have crazy daily, what seems like all day long sales. They're always live. Make sure to follow them on Whatnot. And here we have him, Galactus, in all of his glory. Man, what a beautiful piece. So much presence. He's huge. Let's see how tall. It looks like his right fin is the tallest point. So he's 32 inches tall with a base diameter of about 15 inches. Now, the reason why I decided to pick this up, Sideshow is offering a new Galactus Maquette, and I don't think it topped this. It came in a little bit shorter. It looks like it might be scaled down a little bit. The sculpt and the paint might be better because it's a newer piece, so I still am going to get that in to see it in person, and I wanted to compare it to this, but we'll get to that. XM Studios is teasing one, and through the grapevine I'm hearing it's supposed to be on a throne. That didn't really excite me. I wanted a Galactus that had a lot of presence like this one, and that's why I decided to buy this when I saw it. Now, the thing is, what I noticed when I was putting the heralds on is that this piece has a mean lean. It leans forward extremely easily, even though it has a peg on one foot and a keyhole with a notch in the left foot. And I'm thinking that's what caused this to break to begin with, which caused the damage that Lewis had to repair and then repaint. And that's another thing I didn't really love about it. I didn't mind the fact it was repaired and even repainted because it did have a little bit of a bland, duller paint job, as I recalled when I first owned this. But come to find out, he only really repainted the body and not the base and the red elements or the helmet. So I was kind of like, it didn't really look like it matched as much to me. You know, I was fine with that, but the leaning forward aspect, me thinking I'm going to break it one day in the future, I decided to return it. And Todd, like I mentioned in the beginning, man, you're dealing with the best in the business when you're dealing with this guy. So no problem. 1, 2, 3, we're going to return it. I'll keep my eyes out for another one. I also am kind of on the lookout for the legendary scale, the half scale bust by Sideshow, which is Galactus and a small Silver Surfer. And, you know, see what else we could come up with, man. I've been buying back pieces that I've gotten rid of, and I don't want to say I regret it, but that I wouldn't mind having back in the collection. So let me know what you guys think. Should I have returned this guy? Look at this. It can actually go more, but I don't want to make the gauntlets fall off. Should I dealt with it, being that it already had repairs? Give me your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. Stay minty fresh. Peace.